In this video, you will learn how to multiply fractions. Let's review what a fraction is. A fraction represents part of a whole. It's made up of a numerator, the top number, and a denominator, the bottom number. The numerator tells us how many pieces we're talking about, while the denominator tells us how many equal pieces that whole is divided into. For example, 3/4. Here we have one whole bar, but it is cut into 4 equal pieces. 3 of those pieces are shaded. So this model represents 3/4. Our first example uses a model. Find 1/4 times 1/2. You can think of the times sign as being the word of. So find 1/4 of 1/2. So we can start by shading in 1/2 of the model. Then we need to find 1/4 of that 1/2. So you can see here in the model, 1/2 of the whole bar is shaded, and then of that half, 1/4 of it is shaded a little darker to represent the 1/4 of 1/2. The product of 1/4 times 1/2 is 1/8. Looking at the model, you can see that it is broken into 8 equal pieces, and one of those pieces is shaded. Now it's time for you to try it. 1/3 times 1/5. Remember, that means 1/3 of 1/5. So start by shading in 1/5 of the bar, and then find 1/3 of that shaded area. How did you do? For number 1, part of it was done for you. 1/5 was already shaded in. 1/3 of that 1/5 is one of the pieces. There are 15 total pieces here, so one of those is 1/15 of the whole. Number 2, shade in 3/4 and then shade in 2/3 of that. That gives you 1/2. And number 3, we shade in 5/6 of the whole bar and then shade in half of that 5/6. That gives us 5/12. Now that we have an idea of what multiplying fractions looks like, let's try it without a model. Find 8/9 times 3/4. Remember, this is just like 8/9 of 3/4. Let's start by estimating. 8/9 is very close to 1, so we can say 1 times 3/4. That's 3/4. So hopefully our answer will be somewhere near 3/4. That will mean we did it correctly. To multiply 8/9 times 3/4, we start by multiplying the numerators, the top numbers, and multiplying the denominators, the bottom numbers. That gives us 24 over 36. But then we can simplify this. Dividing both the top and the bottom number by 12, we get 2/3. So the product of 8/9 times 3/4 is 2/3. We can check to see if that's reasonable by comparing it with our estimate. We estimated that it would be about 3/4. 2/3 is pretty close to 3/4. So yes, that's a reasonable answer. Now it's your turn to try it. Pause the video and try these 3 problems in your notes. Then start the video back up and see how you did. Are you ready to see the answers? Number 4, 3 times 2 is 6, and 7 times 3 is 21. We can simplify that by dividing the top and bottom by 3 and get 2/7. Number 5, 4 times 3 is 12, 9 times 10 is 90. We can simplify that by dividing both the top and bottom by 6, so we get 2/15. Number 6, 6 times 5 is 30, 8 times 5 is 40. We can simplify that by dividing the top and bottom both by 10, and we get 3/4. Not all fractions are that simple. Some fractions represent more than one, like in this problem with 2 and 3/4. Find 1/2 times 2 and 3/4. Remember, that's like saying find 1/2 of 2 3/4. Let's start by estimating. We can say this is about 1/2 times 3 because 2 3/4 is pretty close to 3. 1/2 times 3 is 1 1/2. So we need to get an answer that's close to 1 1/2 in order for it to be reasonable. One of the most important things to remember when you're multiplying mixed numbers is that you need to change those mixed numbers to improper fractions. If you just try to multiply the 1/2 times the 3/4 and stick the 2 back on the answer, that is not going to give you the correct answer. So we need to change 2 3/4 to an improper fraction. That will be equal to 2 times 4, which is 8, plus 3, 11/4. Now we just need to multiply the numerators, 1 times 11, and the denominators, 2 times 4. That gives us 11/8. Next, just simplify your answer. 11/8 is more than 1. I can tell because the top number, the numerator, is larger than the bottom number, the denominator. 8 can fit into 11 one time, and there are 3 left over. So 11/8 is equal to 1 3/8. Is 1 3/8 a reasonable answer? Originally, we estimated 1 1/2. 3/8 is very close to 1/2. So 1 3/8 is very close to 1 1/2. I would say that is a very reasonable answer. It's time for you to try some more problems. Pause the video and then come back and see how you did on these problems. Remember to change the mixed numbers to improper fractions first. Are you ready to see how you did? Number 8. First, I estimated 1/3. I kept it the same. And then 1 1/6. I said that's about 1. So 1/3 times 1 gives us 1/3. Now, when we start multiplying, we need to first change 1 1/6 to 7/6. Multiply straight across the numerators, or the top. 1 times 7 is 7, and 3 times 6 is 18. That gives us 7/18, and that cannot be simplified because 7 and 18 don't have any common factor other than 1. Number 9, 3 1/2 times 4/9. I estimated 3 times 1/2. 3 times 1/2 is about 1 1/2, so hopefully my answer is close to that. 3 1/2 is equal to 7/2. Multiply that by 4/9 and you get 28/18. I can simplify that by dividing both the top and bottom by 2 and get 14/9. Then change it to a mixed number and get 1 5/9. Now, it's okay if you didn't follow all of these exact steps. Some of these things I wrote down, I didn't really have to. I could have gone from 28/18 to 1 5/9. Now let's look at number 10. 4 2/3 times 3/4. I estimated 4 1/2 times 1 and got 4 1/2. So my answer should be somewhere around that. 4 2/3 is equal to 14/3 times 3/4. So 14 times 3 is 42, and 3 times 4 is 12. Those can both be divided by 6. 7/2 is equal to 3 1/2. How did you do? Sometimes you may see problems where both fractions are mixed numbers. In this situation, you still have to change the mixed numbers to improper fractions. Find 1 4/5 times 3 2/3. You can still estimate. In this example, they said 2 times 4, so the estimate is 8. You have to change 1 4/5 to 9/5 and 3 2/3 to 11/3. Then multiply straight across. 9 times 11 is 99. 5 times 3 is 15. And that can be simplified to 6 3/5. That is a reasonable answer because it is near 8. If you'd like to, you can pause for a moment on this screen so that you can get a better idea of how to do problems like this. But if you feel that you've got it, go ahead and move on and start trying your practice sheet. Now you should know how to multiply fractions. Thanks for watching.